Hi there. My name is Chris Dessi. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Diamond Standard, and right now I will be presenting utilizing AI to increase organizational efficiency. But first, before I dive into the nitty-gritty details of everything that I wanted to chat about today, I wanted to make sure that we sort of level set. And the reason why I wanted to level set is by virtue of your watching this presentation, you are already ahead of the curve. And the reason why I say that is because right now, what we're dealing with AI feels very much like social media felt like back in probably around 2008, 2007. What I mean by that is all of a sudden it went from a certain set of individuals that were aware of it, that were engaging in it, that were leveraging it for business to completely mainstream after that fact. So around 2008, it was behind the curtain. Around 2010, 11, 12, it starts getting bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, fully mainstream. And now my 15-year-old and 13-year-old daughters are social media experts. Whereas back then, when I was running my own agency, I was billed as a social media expert. So I bring that up because back then I wrote about the concept, in my opinion, that anybody that called themselves a social media expert in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 was absolutely full of it because it changed so fast. That was back then. That was social media. I wrote a blog post about that. That blog post helped me get on national television to become the air quote social media expert for the next 10 years of my career. I leveraged my understanding of technology by blogging about what was happening in social media and then reaped the benefits of search engine optimization when a television producer Googled, fired over a Facebook post, I need a social media expert. Remember I mentioned social media expert, that term? Of course, he found my blog. He realized that I was kind of making fun of my own industry and the fact that I was saying that it moves too fast and for anybody to call themselves an expert, it's ridiculous. So the reason why I tell you that is because I want to share with you that I am not an AI expert, nor are you, nor is anybody. Even the people that are developing the technology, everybody is learning, everybody's participating. So wanted to level set there and make sure that nobody gets too anxious. But we'll start with a journey that we've gone on here at Diamond Standard. So Diamond Standard is the world's first regulator-approved diamond commodity, and we can talk more about that. But when we were marketing Diamond Standard, we were discussing the fact that more has changed in the past 5 years than the previous 50. That the individual retail investor that we were targeting was, in fact, leveraging technology in every aspect of their life. They were on social media, they were ingesting media at home, they were on technology throughout the entirety of their workday, they were conducting their hobbies via social media, and their family and home life was driven by technology and social media, spending over 4 hours on a screen and 5 times more trusting in referrals of brands from their friends via those social media platforms. So, as every good marketer understands, you need to be within that social ecosystem in order to get in front of those people. And of course, we've done that here at Diamond Standard. I've been here for about 3 years as the Chief Revenue Officer, and we were able to do that. However, of late, we've pivoted to be much more aggressive when it comes to AI. The reason why we're trying to be more aggressive when it comes to AI is the fact that we can leverage the fact that new niche brands can capture large share of growth because we're small, we are a startup, and essentially I am the marketing team. And the fact that everything is moving at the speed of light. So I can't handle it all on my own. I understand the concepts of generating revenue and how to execute marketing plans and communication plans, but we needed to leverage outside technology in order to scale everything that we were doing here at Diamond Standard. So what's the strategy? Our strategy globally is get in front of the right people with the right message at the right time with the right execution, and of course in the right place, right? Product, price, place, and promotion, marketing 101. Those things sound relatively easy. We have been able to get our founder and CEO, Cormac Kinney, on national television relatively often. He's been on Bloomberg. We've been able to get him on the stage of prestigious financial events. In the right time slide, he's at the Stansberry Research event on stage, being interviewed, talking about Diamond Standard. The right execution, our company is thriving. We've built out all of the operational elements of a fintech startup in order to be successful as the orders for coins and bars come in. The right messaging has been cultivated by our communications, our blog content, our website content, all of our social media, and getting in front of the right people. We understand where these people live, but how do we amplify those conversations? So typically, legacy mass marketing approach is, a campaign is pre-planned long in advance. There's a big committee. Based on that plan, all the customers are contacted multiple times, might be targeted, very spray and pray oriented. So about 3 years ago, we pivoted that approach and we made sure that everything that we were doing was definitively targeted, that it wasn't as broad as previous marketing efforts had been, so that we can create a branded viral loop. So what I mean by that is we want to take Occam's razor and get directly in front of those right people with a message that is going to be definitively impactful as they engage within our social media, any piece of our content that might live in blog content, on LinkedIn, on our website, might be in a publisher that's writing about us. No matter what, we want to make sure that we are having those high priority leads identified by our data analysis on the back end, whether that be through Google or Power BI when we're looking at how they interact with us as an investor. And we also want to make sure that when we do engage with them, that all of the messaging is personalized. So it's email messaging is personalized, SMS messaging is personalized, and when they get on a phone call with us, it's going to be personalized. And we'll talk a little bit about how we got there. So our tech stack needed to be seamlessly integrated. I mentioned that we used advanced Power BI analytics, made sure that those were all personalized and targeted. And key to this conversation is the AI automation and workflow efficiencies that we've been able to implement in order to make everything that we do that much more scalable and flexible. So let's talk about it. How does the tech stack interact? When I first came here at Diamond Standard, I was a Salesforce and HubSpot guy. And the first literally 48 hours, I had to analyze the tech stack. I had to see, what was in front of my team, what was the sales team going to be leveraging, how are we going to be communicating to our client partners, and what was that whole thing going to look like? And I was told by Cormac, our founder and CEO, that we were leveraging something called Zoho. And I had never heard of Zoho. This maps out exactly how we use Zoho in order to manage the mass execution of marketing, sales, and communications. Zoho essentially, I apologize to anybody that works at Zoho right now. Well, I shouldn't say I apologize because I do love them, but they probably know this as well. They create basically a B-level version of every piece of software that any brand or retailer would potentially need in order to interact with their customer set. And what I mean by that is instead of leveraging something like HubSpot for marketing content, they have Zoho CRM. Instead of leveraging Hootsuite, they have Zoho Social. Instead of leveraging Zendesk, they have Zoho Desk. Instead of leveraging Hootsuite, it's I already mentioned that, Zoho Social. But there's myriad different applications within Zoho that are replicas of everything that we know as separate vendors, and they are in aggregate. That is very important when we talk about the success of Diamond Standard over the past 3 years, where we've been able to sell close to $28 million of the Diamond Standard coins. The reason why we're able to do that is because when our customers interact with us, not only are they receiving specific communication from our email, But I'll back up and we're going to show a little bit of more detail about the customer journey. But if somebody just as simply as hits our website, we can look at Zoho Sales IQ and see the traffic that's on the website live as they're interacting with our website. And there's different formats and ways in which you can look at that in Zoho. But key for us is the fact that if they've already invested with us, or even if they've only just attended a webinar like this one, and we've gotten their first name, last name, and email address, that will show up in the back end. So the CRM data will articulate when that individual hits our website. And what that does for our retail sales team is it allows for them to proactively then reach out to those individuals when they're on the website and chat with them. And chat through Zoho is continuously getting more and more intelligent by AI. The AI is being fed all of this data throughout this global ecosystem of Zoho, whether that be a form, they have Zoho forms. And once they fill out that form, we put them into a drip campaign through Zoho campaigns. And we're going to show a screenshot of that soon. And then once they're in that ecosystem, anywhere they interact with us, through any sort of Zoho application, we know where else that they have been. So we are not trying to track down different vendors. We're not trying to add massive dashboards in order to analyze separate vendors. Everything is within aggregate under the Zoho umbrella, and that's become a very powerful tool for us. So kind of went against my initial intuition to be the sort of HubSpot on the back end, HubSpot on the front end, and then the Salesforce CRM on the back end. But it's been really impactful for us as a startup. So if in fact you are a startup, I encourage you to look at Zoho. And of course, it's a multi-touch strategy. So there I mentioned Sales IQ. Sales Campaigns is the email. There's Zoho Analytics, which is essentially like Google Analytics, but we know those individuals that hit the website. Zoho Desk is like Zendesk. So if there's customer service issues, we're tracking tickets. The ticket will then pump into the CRM and will articulate exactly what was going on with that, whether it was a technological issue or whether it was just something that somebody was concerned about if they gave us a phone call. Zoho Meetings as well, where we can create Zoho webinars. We did one this morning where we did a co-opted webinar with Anthony Zhang, the CEO from VinoVest, an executive from Farm Together, and our founder and CEO at Diamond Standard. Everything was done within Zoho. That recording was done within Zoho, and we were able to email and promote those individuals that had attended the webinar through the Zoho CRM pretty seamlessly and pretty simply. But I will tell you, this is not a Zoho pitch. Really what I want to share with you is beyond Zoho, to where AI becomes very exciting for us. Before we get there, we have to understand our Diamond Standard funnel flow. So we have an upper funnel, a mid funnel, a lower funnel, and then post funnel. The post funnel is where I got thinking about how to leverage AI. The upper funnel is going to be the mass media content, getting Cormac on television. It's going to be events. It's going to be, meeting people in person, social media interaction on the outer fringes of everything that we're doing. The mid funnel is going to be, okay, they're interested. They're hitting our website. They want a lead magnet. They want to learn more about diamond investing. Once they get that, they get pumped into our email drip campaigns. The lower funnel, it's getting a little bit closer to an acquisition. Are they going to be a member of, are they going to be in our webinar? Are they going to start asking questions? Are they going to schedule a call through Zoho bookings instead of Calendly? It's actually very interesting. That integrates as well into Zoho. And then post funnel, once they've invested with Diamond Standard, now what? If they have questions, are we going to leverage that technology to usher them through the process and they're interacting with us? Is it going to be seamless? Is it going to be painless for them? Is it going to be a pleasurable experience? Are we going to delight them or are we going to upset them? So these are all the things that we had to cover and make sure we're operating beautifully. So the upper funnel, mass media, right? I mentioned that Cormac is on television often talking about Diamond Standard coins and bars. We do attend many events. And of course, as I mentioned also, we do webinars. Social media is the aggregate of a lot of that stuff, but I'm going to talk to you about how we leverage AI in order to ensure that all of that activity, upper funnel, becomes sustainable throughout the course of time, it becomes our evergreen content. So the mass media is useless if you don't grab the mass media and then flip it over the fence. When I mentioned that I was a, air quotes, social media expert and I'd get on television, it didn't matter that I was on TV for 2 minutes. What mattered was I was able to screen record the actual appearance when they put it on the website, upload that to my YouTube channel, write a description within the YouTube channel, write a blog post about being at the event, embed the YouTube video in there, then post it on social media. That's how you leverage every piece of content that you're executing on, whether that be traditional mass media and or social media. You need to be able to chop it up into digestible bits and then execute it over the course of time so you can input it into your content calendar. I did want to hold this up for 2 seconds. So this is actually, let's see if I could zoom in a little bit further here. This is a Diamond Standard coin. That's the actual size. I know I thought of it because Cormac is actually holding it in the video. There's about 7 diamonds within this particular coin. This is worth about $5,000. There's a military grade microchip embedded in this coin so that once you invest in the Diamond Standard coin, we then place it in the public blockchain, on the public blockchain, so that it tracks the provenance of each of the diamonds. And if you'd like to learn more about Diamond Standard, it's not for this presentation, but you can go to diamondstandard.co and or email me, chris@diamondstandard.co, but we'll get to that. So upper funnel. He's in Wall Street Journal. He's on television all the time and making all these great appearances. How do we make sure that we're leveraging all of that content so that we can put it into our marketing details? I'll tell you how. These AI applications, so video AI and this other, what's the name of it? I can't even see. Opacity. These two AI applications allow for us to take the content and chop it up into digestible bits very easily. So our graphic designer will take the video clip, plop it into this, and it automatically makes short clips from long videos. The reason why this is important, once he does a television appearance and he puts that content out there, let's say, for example, the appearance is 4 minutes long. That 4-minute long piece of content, that might play really well on YouTube, but YouTube has YouTube Shorts. That's what this is for. It may play very well if we take a screenshot and we post it on our Instagram. That's fine, but Instagram also has Instagram Reels. That's what this is for. Instagram also has stories. That's what this is for. Same thing with Facebook. Are you seeing the pattern here? So it's not just about putting it out in traditional social media ways. It's taking that content, slicing it up, and making it as efficient as possible. Now, the reason why this is impactful for us is because I kind of joked about the fact that I'm the marketing team, but I am. We have there's one other retail sales executive, Kat Jordan, who helps me a lot when it comes to marketing, but she wasn't hired to do marketing. So we're doing this with one arm tied behind our back, and AI has started to make it much, much easier, where we're generating content like a team of 20 marketers would have 6 months ago. It's really been that soon, or that recent, where this couldn't have been possible. So when we're taking the video, it creates all these different spliced versions. It creates copy underneath the actual video so that it's easy to follow along. We can make it different pieces of content, and we could drive those different pieces of content into different areas on the website. So hugely impactful. Middle of the funnel, that's our traditional lead magnets, webinars like this, as I mentioned, email communication. We have a monthly newsletter called The Cut, and then AI explainer videos. So what do I mean by that? So when you're in the middle of the funnel and you're interested in us and you hit our website and you say, hey, I want to learn more about diamond investing and I'm going to download the Diamond Investment Guide, you're going to get subscribed to The Cut. This is The Cut. We need to generate the content for The Cut. We have a podcast called Clarity. We're posting on LinkedIn, sort of the traditional middle funnel content. But about a year and a half ago, I discovered this company called Synthesia. Now, Synthesia has been a definitive game changer for us in mid-funnel as well as post-funnel. In mid-funnel, what it allows us to do are things like this. If you hit our website and you have questions about how to interact with Diamond Standard, as an alternative investment. You want to hedge against inflation. You want to diversify. You want to make sure that you have an appropriate store of wealth. When you start asking those questions, when you're within our ecosystem, we didn't have the bandwidth to pick up every phone call, nor did we have the bandwidth to get on a web call with everybody that had an inquiry. So we scaled and we, air quotes, hired a bunch of executives. These two women, again, air quotes on women, they are AI. The AI is very simple to use. You put in copy. The AI can say whatever you want it to say in different types of voices. You can have a Southern accent. You can have in different languages, which is hugely impactful for global companies. This, for us, Synthesia has been a definitive game changer. The funny part of Synthesia is we're starting to see them out and about. We were at events and there was an explainer video playing on a screen for another fintech, and it had the young woman in the orange sweater actually delivering that pitch. So you run that risk. But there are also other very interesting features with this AI where you could make your own avatar, where if you shoot it properly, light it properly, do certain things that they want you to do, you can then become your own avatar, meaning that your team could write a blog post, input it at the bottom, your mouth would move, and it would look just like this. A little creepy, a little scary. You don't necessarily want to, give the power of your likeness away. But if you are interested in doing that, you absolutely can. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up venturing out and experimenting with that on my own. So we'll see. Lower funnel. So automated email drip campaigns through Zoho. That's what those little dots are. So once you get into the funnel, every couple of days, you're getting evergreen content. You're being educated about Diamond Standard. You're getting invited to exclusive webinars. You're potentially having one-on-one meetings with us. And then if you really get post conversion, or if you're teetering there, you're going to get AI training videos. You're going to be able to ask your question, have your questions answered, through AI. Again, makes our life much easier. Doesn't answer every question, but it does allow for us to scale appropriately. Now, I'm giving away lots of secrets here, but that's okay. So the upper right-hand corner, Diamond Standard VIP event, that's Zoho. That's just leveraging our ecosystem so that we can host our in-person events and or webinars. Bottom right is the email drip campaign. Email in the middle, that's perfectly fine. But upper left-hand corner, that handwritten note is not a handwritten note. So we take the personalization to a different level, but we use it by leveraging AI to create content that is customizable and personal to those individuals. And then we mail out handwritten letters from Cormac's desk. It is so powerful. If you are responsible for revenue within your organization, you're responsible for optimizing the effort that your team is making, it can be tremendously impactful. However, it doesn't take away from the real life impact of a real handwritten note. In fact, we've just put together a direct mail campaign where we're sending out coins and bars to some VIP targets of ours, and Kat and I were actually handwriting those notes actually. So again, these recommendations are to help scale your efforts internally, not to replace them fully. I should mention that as well. I do think that that's a important differentiator to discuss about AI, is the fact that it's not there to completely replace a marketing team. It can't function on its own. It needs people that are hungry enough and smart enough to learn about the AI, to continuously educate themselves. Again, not to become an AI expert, because there's no such thing, but to be able to control AI within your organization to do the things that you need it to do in order to scale your brain and your efforts. Post funnel, somebody finally invests in Diamond Standard. They're very excited about their investment. They see diamonds going up. They are now within a high touch investor relations scenario with Kat Jordan. She's on the phone with them. She's walking them through this. And they're getting stage-based webinars, whether they are a coin investor, a bar investor, whether they're invested in our fund and they've taken their self-directed IRA into the fund. Dependent upon how they're interacting with us, or our new digital currency carrots, if they invested $100, we're speaking to each of those audiences differently. We're leveraging our different audience avatar and making sure that those different drip campaigns are communicated differently. just a different demo. But we also have AI client service videos. This gentleman actually walks people through how to invest in our fund. And it's tremendously powerful when it's combined with this technology. Subscribe is software that we've implemented for the onboarding for our fund. And the reason why that's important is because in the initial days when we launched our fund, I literally went to the whiteboard in our conference room. There's a huge whiteboard here, and I mapped out every step of an individual trying to come onto the fund and invest with us. And each of those steps I thought I had covered through Zoho. I had email, I had communications, I had all these different details. They were even signing contracts in Zoho because there's Zoho contracts. However, when our product team came to us to say, okay, let's analyze this onboarding process and make sure that we're optimizing it, we realized that there were too many holes in that process, and it made it a little bit dangerous for that interaction. It wasn't as smooth. There was opportunity for human error. So we then engaged software called Subscribe. Now, Subscribe is still relatively complicated for somebody that perhaps doesn't interact with software often, that perhaps when they're investing in a fund, they just call up their financial planner, their finance person. They say, hey, take that bit of money and invest it in the fund for me if they're dealing with an RIA. So we had to create the videos with that gentleman that very slowly walks people through the actual steps. We have a screenshot of Subscribe, clicking on login, clicking on next step, et cetera, and we go into real tactical detail so that we're alleviating any anxiety around the process. We're making sure that we're getting out in front of these questions, and it allows for our team to handle the bigger questions as opposed to worrying about these little tactical things, kind of like, how do I reset my password? Those types of questions are addressed by the AI. And again, look, it didn't happen magically. There was heavy lifting up front. There was people, trying to write out those transcriptions and make sure that every step of it worked. There were screenshots, there was video content, there was review and analysis. But the fun part is when you do that heavy lifting up front, you're able to scale on the back end. That's really where the power of AI comes in. So the new investor funnel flow. This is essentially most of the things that I described, but we'll talk about how it's changed even in the past 3 to 6 months. So potential prospect might see Cormac on television talking about Diamond Standard. They perhaps might attend that Stansberry event or Money 2020 or the Money Show or the Opal Family Office event, and they might have their curiosity piqued, and they'll go to our website and then they download the investment guide. Now, once they've downloaded the investment guide, you remember what happens, right? They receive those emails. They might see a LinkedIn post about a webinar and attend the webinar. Now, all of a sudden, AI really kicks in. They're watching the AI explainer video. They're signing up for the market commentary. They're getting those emails. They're scheduling a call. They're perhaps choosing to invest in the fund. And then remember, that AI is walking them through that entire investable process. So they are touching individuals and real human beings with Diamond Standard, but that funnel is pumping, that blood life, that lifeline is being squeezed by the AI from top to bottom. So that was the definitive line. But if we go back here and we take a look at the prospect, right? Seeing Cormac on TV, that's one thing. We can't count on Cormac being on television every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So what we had to do was go ahead and make sure that we're getting individuals to our website, because once they get to the website, like I said, we know who they are. If they give us their email, there's a lead magnet, etc., we're off to the races. But that's the hard part, right? You need eyeballs on your website. Previously, about 8 to 10 months ago, we had been spending an exorbitant amount of money on keyword buying, search engine marketing, and that was falling flat for us. Diamond Standard, as the world's first regulator approved diamond commodity, we are very interesting, very compelling. We're growing like crazy, institutional attention from the financial world. However, search engine marketing is stimulated by curiosity. It's an inquiry. It's transactional. Somebody's going on Google and they're saying, what's the price of gold? Right? Because they are of that mindset. They are an alternatives investment. They want an alternate investment. They want to hedge against inflation. They want a store of wealth. They think gold. Or what's the price of silver? We were bidding on keywords that were associated with diamonds. And unfortunately, before Diamond Standard, not many people consider diamonds an appropriate investment for them. In fact, less than 2% of the $1.2 trillion worth of diamonds that have been mined are currently held as an investable asset. Our thesis is that silver, palladium, rhodium, gold, that's about 15% of all of those commodities that are held as an investment. So the delta between that 2% up to 15%, which is about a $300 billion market, those are our green pastures to convince those people that we have unlocked diamonds as an asset class. Sounds easy. The problem is people aren't proactively searching for that. So when we were bidding on keywords having to do with diamonds, people might click on the link, but when they hit our website, they're confused. They're like, "What is diamond standard? Why am I getting this? I want to buy a diamond engagement ring for my girlfriend so that I can marry her." So when I took a closer look at our marketing, I said, we need to pivot. We need to make sure that we're optimizing our, on the back end, dealing with search engine optimization, not proactively spending money, but enhancing everything that we're doing on our website and social, anywhere we're doing any sort of digital communication, so that when people are searching for tertiary topics, right? And tertiary topics might be what's the price of gold, it might be what's happening with silver, they will potentially land on our website. We will then educate them and then convert them. And this has been hugely powerful for us in the past 6 months. And it started here. It started with SEMrush, whatever you want to call it, where we just did an analysis of ourselves as well as our competitors. And the key that I discovered when I was looking at our competitors is all of the organic traffic that was going to these competitors. And it was hugely compelling for me. I was like, wait a minute, people are just searching for what's the price of gold and they're hitting these websites and then they're getting investors from it. So we set about creating a content calendar associated with creating blog content that would appropriately cover those tertiary subjects, right? Like is gold a better investment than silver? What's the price of gold and what's impacting the price of gold? What are the macroeconomics that are impacting gold? Because individuals that are of the mindset that they want to invest in gold typically become very good investors for diamond standard. So these are the people that we want to talk to, but they're not going to proactively search for us. They're going to proactively search for the other investments that they're interested in within the alternative investment ecosystem. Everybody knows what this is, right? This is ChatGPT. This is how we did it. So we investigated on SEMrush. What are the topics? What are the keywords? What are the pieces of information that the avatars that we have defined as our great investors, what are they searching for? And once we realized what they were searching for, off to the races. Let's start generating content. Now, you don't want to post 20 blog posts in one day. You want to be able to create maybe 2 per day so that the Google algorithm doesn't say, oh, this is a bot that's creating this content. Look, AI is helping us create the content and scale, but we're not just allowing for it to willy-nilly spit the content out. We're embedding links. We're making sure that the content is smart. We're making sure that the content adds value. And then at the end, we're saying, hey, if you want to learn more about Diamond Standard, sure. So we're just generating content that is definitively appropriate for our audience and enhancing everything that we're doing. Previously, we never did stuff like this. This is just a snapshot of some of our blog content. Is investing in diamonds a shining path to learn long-term wealth? You can see there the phrase long-term wealth, the word wealth. The other blog post, gold versus diamonds, which is the more resilient investment. The keyword gold is in there. Resilient investment is in there. So while we're talking about diamonds, it's still compelling. Tokenization of precious metals, challenges and blind spots. Precious metals. People might be searching, what are the prices of precious metals? Now, all of a sudden, they'll hit this blog post within our ecosystem and then convert as an investor. Beyond the crypto craze, a realistic crypto prediction for investors, right? It's got crypto twice in that title. There's going to be tagging that's done properly. There's going to be backlinking to other websites. Once other websites that are within this ecosystem or other bloggers read this content, they're starting to backlink to our content. As everybody knows, you start getting those backlinks. Once you get that traffic, the Google algorithm looks upon you even more fondly and you get ranked even higher. So the fun part about all of this, it only took a couple of months and we went from about 3% organic traffic all the way up to 40% of our traffic is organic. It's been a smashing success for us. the manner with which we aggregate and disseminate information as a company has definitively changed. The content strategy has definitively changed. The execution of it has definitively changed. And again, this is months, weeks, and days ago. This is why I'm saying, remember, don't get overwhelmed by it. It's all changing, but you can stick to the blocking and tackling of marketing and generating revenue and selling and communications, and you could put little sprinklings of AI in order to help you scale in the right spots, right? It's being a sniper, not doing the spray and pray. But once you snipe and leverage the appropriate AI, things can be absolutely beautifully powerful for you. And we create this. This is the sort of, you know, the diamond in the rough, right? It's the branded viral loop that we've created, which is hugely exciting. So demand is determined from the prospect's DNA. And what I mean by that is we're not trying to capture somebody that's searching for us because it's just not happening yet. We're taking the learning of what we know about these avatars, these buying personas, these investors that we're starting to work with, and we're seeing what those replicas of them are interacting with. What is their DNA? Where do they get their information? Where are they investing elsewhere? What is the stuff that they're interested in? How are they learning? What events are they going to? Where do they travel to? What's their zip code? Really, we're getting that granular. And once we understand that, we're generating content to meet them where they are, and then we bring them along on this journey. So high priority leads identified by the data analysis, as I just mentioned, then it's coordinated outreach and small media spend. Right now, we're working with a company called Money Made and another company called Benzinga. This is a definitive ecosystem that we are in. Again, it is sniper shots. These are where individuals are going to get information. These are publishing sites that demographic is intrigued by. We've done really impactful media buys with Kiyosaki, Rich Dad. We're now engaging with Kitco. This is the demographic that we want to be in and be able to add definitive value. And we're targeting only customers with high interest. So it's investing, it's blockchain, right? And they're getting this definitive personalized message through their preferred channel. So they're within a comfortable ecosystem. Then they get a customized message about what we're doing. That's a game winner right there for us. So before we go, I wanted to add this snapshot. So in the upper left-hand corner is AI that I've just started tinkering with in order to make everything that I'm doing a touch more impactful on LinkedIn. So hopefully you as an executive can engage with this AI. What it does is it tracks hashtags for you. So topical, and then it'll help you write commentary on the different content that people might be posting on LinkedIn. So it helps you kind of scale your brain and the things that you're interested in. This one that I just learned about is magically creating the stunning SOPs with AI. So I'm going to start testing this, and this is really about onboarding, right? I'm a little obsessed with onboarding, and I'm a little obsessed with it from an internal perspective for our teams to educate them about Diamond Standard. But I'm also obsessed about it when it comes to investing because we're not selling T-shirts, right? And then it's one and done and they're out. When they're investing with us, we're onboarding them. They have to go through KYC. We need to understand exactly who they are. They have to take photographs. They have to, we have to do background checks, et cetera. They're interacting with us from a financial perspective. So that process needs to be absolutely smooth and perfect. There's another piece of AI here that I found really interesting where it aggregates all of your screenshots in order to create a story arc associated with those screenshots. So just wanted to give you a little bit more added value before we left that's outside of the ecosystem of the content that we just discussed. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Chris Dessi. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Diamond Standard. That's our website. It's not a typo. It is diamondstandard.co if you'd like to learn more about Diamond Standard. If you'd like to learn more about me, I've been blogging since 2004 at a blog very creatively titled ChristopherDessi.com. On all social platforms, it's just at Chris Dessi. So LinkedIn, if you search for Chris Dessi, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And I've just started a newsletter on Beehive, which has been absolutely fantastic, where I've been writing a lot about the AI that we've been leveraging here in Diamond Standard. I also talk about fitness, health, motivation, success, leadership, trials and tribulations of every executive's life these days, and navigating all of the technological wonders that are happening around us. I thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you do reach out to me. I'd love to speak with you, see what you thought about the presentation, see if you had any questions and or comments, and I'd love to hear tips about AI, how you're using it as well. Thank you so much.